Yeah! We're live! We're live! Oh. We're live. It's you, it's me. We're here. Do we have a Ben Johnston? Let me see if we can see. If you Ben. We've got some music on anyway. We're doing it, we're doing it.
Hello! Hello,
Benny.
everybody. How are we? How are we?
How we doing?
It still looks like I've joined the party of sorts.
I think I took you by surprise. We weren't expecting music, but let's get some music to get it going. Let's get us going, you know. We're all in lockdown, we're home, we're stuck. But I think we all need a little bit of company now, and it's nice to have yours at home. How are you doing, Benny?
I'm doing all right, man. It's nice to see you too. I miss you, man. I miss Simo too. Miss the both of you. Miss music. Miss playing music.
I think there's lots of things that we all miss, but we're going to get a chance to enjoy a little bit of each other's company and have a few stories, a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a catch up. So let's catch up. What have you been doing? How have you been surviving lockdown?
I've been probably cooking more than usual, I'd have to say. I think that's the same for a lot of people. You can't find flour in the supermarket because everyone's baking. So I'm not the only person that's been doing a lot of cooking. Trying to go for walks, playing my drum pad, hanging out with my cats, just staying sane, listening to music, you know, doing the same sort of stuff as everybody else. What about you, man? What have you been doing?
I'd like to say staying sane, but I don't know if my wife would agree with that. I was thinking of things we could chat about, and I was thinking of, I could tell you some of the ways that I've pissed off my wife, but we've only got half an hour here, so...
Yeah, I don't you've quite got the time for that, no.
Well, I've been, well, as you know, actually, we moved into a new house last year, so I've been unpacking some boxes and getting moved in, finding some fun things, man. I found some funny photographs. I did a jigsaw. You might like to see this one. See if you recognise this. Does that ring any bells?
With New York City, I've been there before, but I don't recognise. Oh my! Look at that handsome trio! Wow!
I don't know where that come from. I found all kinds of weird things that I didn't know existed, and some things I'd probably prefer that they didn't exist at all.
They didn't exist, yeah, exactly. I've also been, as you do, going through boxes because we're in lockdown, so you throw out a lot of clothes and stuff like that. And I found I found this in a box. I was quite surprised to see. I haven't seen this in a long time.
What is that?
This kind of smells a bit. This would be the jumpsuit that I wore on the My Recovery Injection video.
No way.
It is. It actually is. It is.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
It's got that same. It's got the same patch on there about the taxidermy. But yeah, I'm thinking if anybody wants that, you know, and they want to give me some money, then I can give that money to charity or the NHS. You want it?
I want it. I can't afford it though.
You have to give me money, and then I'm going to give that to the NHS or the charity anyway.
That would be really nice of you. I don't know if you noticed my on the NHS.
Very nice.
Light.
Very nice.
I didn't want to make it light up because it's a little bit too bright, but yeah, just to mention everyone at home, we are going to answer some of your questions. We've had a few sent in very kindly. If you have any more, send them in. We'll do our best to answer them.
Over the next half hour or so.
Half an hour or so. Do you want to kick us off? What have we got? Have you got any questions in there, Benny?
I do have some questions in here. I mean, one of them was what I just asked you. What are you cooking, watching, listening to at the moment? How are you keeping busy and saying during the lockdown? From Claire Healy, Mary Len Guevara, and Ross Fraser.
Hello, folks. Thanks for your question. Yeah, I was saying earlier on about staying sane. It's not that easy. You know, a lot of people are really struggling, and I'd hate to be to complain. You know, I don't want to be. I'm not really someone that complains too much, and I have to say, in our current predicament, you know, people are struggling out there, so I really don't want to complain about my life. You know, so things just trying to stay busy, staying busy in the garden, cutting the grass, trying to plant some food, man. We've planted some broccoli and some carrots and potatoes, and I don't know if any of it's gonna grow.
Hopefully there'll be a harvest when this lockdown's over and I can try some of your wonderful veg.
Well, absolutely, yeah. But
sounds good.
for me, being in the garden is just about quiet time,
Hmm.
thinking about man and nature's social union, as
Hmm.
Burns so eloquently put it, and trying to, mankind is taken over this earth and potentially ruined it, and in some very small way, that's my chance to just to create a little bit of a sanctuary for the wildlife, and to
That's
watch
lovely.
things grow, to watch life happen around
Yes.
you. I think it's inspiring in these really dark and cold times.
Yes, I think a lot of people have taken to growing stuff. We've certainly planted stuff around our garden and got all the flowers going for the start of, hopefully the start of summer. But
Fabulous.
let's stop talking about gardening.
Yeah, let's talk
Sure.
about some music, man. Let's talk about
Let's
some
do that.
music.
Let's do that.
What have you been? Have you been listening to much music?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I've mostly listened to the radio just to get that kind of feeling of community, I guess, or that kind of normality. But I've been really digging the new Strokes album. That's
Oh yeah,
fantastic. I don't know if you have it yet, but you should get it. It's wonderful.
and
And
you'll of course today have been listening to Old Brothers track with our very own brother
yes,
Simon Neil. Hello, Simon.
oh
If
my
you're
God.
watching, miss
Hi,
you, man.
Samo.
Miss you.
Miss
Have
you,
you
man.
been watching and been tuning into Simon's
Of
gigs on a Friday
course,
night?
of course I have. Of course I have.
It's been great fun.
He's been fantastic, and it's it can't be easy. It can't be easy, and I always want to be there to help him. I always want to be there to sing harmonies and shake something if just my ass,
Uh-huh.
But yeah. So he's
I've
been
been
amazing. He's been amazing.
I've been doing Lynn's head in, singing all the BVs dead loud in the kitchen.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Exactly
But it,
that.
it, it definitely makes me miss getting out there and playing our songs,
Uh huh.
That's
Uh huh.
that's I think for me part of listening to music weirdly at the moment is reminding me that we're not getting to do it. So I'm a little bit the
Yeah.
same. I've been struggling ever so slightly finding new music. It's been different listening to some of the stuff I've listened to growing up. It's nice to listen to stuff that reminds you of nicer
Hmm.
memories. But music is always going to be a part of our life. It's a part of everybody's life. And at different times it takes on a kind of different meaning, different kind of importance, really.
It's interesting you say that because I was looking at a question here from Nicola Bissix who asks, or sorry, Joanne who asks, what song do you think will take on a different meaning once this crisis is all over?
Good question.
It's a
Really
very
good
good
question.
question. Very good question.
There's one line from the song opposite, which is "Take care of the ones that you love," and
Oh,
it's
there you
it's
go.
it's not really directly
Yeah.
about this sort of thing, but it's all I can keep thinking about, and it reminds me that we're so lucky to have what I considered a little family here with the people at home listening. Some of you have been part of the family for a long time. Some of you are maybe just joining us, but you're more than welcome.
Mhm.
I think it's really important to have people around you and people that everyone needs to love and be loved. Um,
Mhm.
and that I'm going to start crying if I think about that. Think about that too much, but I think that lyric's one that I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything will be different. There's no doubt about that, and I think we'll just hear things in a different light altogether once this is all over, and we'll see things in a different light. And it's definitely a big part of history, the biggest part of our history so far, anyway.
Absolutely.
Um, so, how about okay? What's it like being in a band with your brother? Is it
Mm.
true what they say about twins being instinctive to what each other are thinking? That's from Rachel Davenport.
I've spent a long time trying to work out what you're thinking, man. And I'm sure you've done the same with me.
Yes.
Um, you and I have both given a similar answer to this question a few times before, and it's along the lines of we don't know any different. Um,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and
Indeed.
really that's what it's like for all facets of our life being twins. We don't know any different. Praise to God that we never
Never
will
have
know any
to.
different.
Hmm.
Um, but I guess as a shorthand there for our communication,
Hmm.
um, and I think that extends through the three of us as a band of brothers, and I
I
think
was
that's
about to say that. I think I'm pretty sure Simon knows what we're thinking, and vice versa as well. It's not just a twin thing. I think it's more to do with time spent and relationships you have with people. So yeah, it's not just a twin thing, but it is there definitely. It's definitely
although
there.
we did have that little moment in the tour bus a couple of
Oh
summers
yeah.
ago.
What would I guess? What cards you were holding up?
You guess what card, and it wasn't magic. It wasn't a card trick. It was just remember I was like, I was feeding you the information.
Just happened. Yeah, it happened, and I heard it, and it was. I think I still remember it was 8 clubs. I believe.
That's right. But then I somehow managed to do it not long after with somebody else, and it kind of debunked that idea
It did.
of.
It really did. It really did.
Let me ask you. This is a question from somebody called James. I don't know who
right.
that is.
Did you write this?
No. Do you have any embarrassing records in your collection?
Not embarrassing, no, because
No.
I wouldn't keep them. Then I don't think. Nothing I'm embarrassed by. I mean, I've got. If anybody's heard me answer the question of what was my first album I ever bought, Kelly Minogue, I'm still not embarrassed by that. I have that record. I think it's part of my my vinyl history and through life, and I'm not embarrassed. Are you embarrassed by any of your collection?
Sure.
You are? Okay.
Well,
divulge.
Do you remember when we were about 15, I went through a summer of listening to Hootie and the Blowfish? No, I must have been like 14.
Oh, you did do that.
Hootie, and I've got a Shania Twain record. I'm not embarrassed about that because it's pure, perfect pop.
Mm-hmm.
Hootie and the Blowfish, I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry, Hootie. I can't imagine you're watching this. But I don't know where it came from, man. I don't know where I might blame Simon for that one.
I don't think Sam was surprised. He's not here to defend himself.
He's not here. No, that's not fair. That's not fair.
That's
but no, I'm a little bit embarrassed about Hootie. Generally, I would say part of your musical upbringing is listening to stuff that maybe isn't great. It's learning, weeding your way through the trees and trying to find that pasture at the end,
Absolutely.
So I don't think, generally I would say don't be embarrassed of your music collection, but I think for Hootie I'm a little bit like, oh. Okay. Well, actually, here's a question from Nicola Bissix. Hi, Nicola. She asked, I guess it's out of between the two of us, who was into music first and what you were listening to. So what were you listening to when you were 12, when you were 11?
I know, it's hard to say who was into music first. We grew up in a house that there was always music playing. Our dad was a guitarist, and my mum was briefly a guitarist, but she loved her music. So there was always a lot of music playing in our house. So I think we probably both got into music around the same time. And it was bands like the Beatles, the Kinks, the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, all kinds of bands back then. All Elvis Costello sticks out as well as a big one in the household.
When you say the Beatles, I remember Christmas '93. I was so lucky to get a bass guitar. I was so happy. Now, bear in mind, you already had a drum kit at this point, so you were quite spoiled. But I remember Christmas Day, I got a bass guitar, and you got a set of timbales, which are they're like sort of steel drums, I don't really know what Dad was thinking. I mean, a nice gift, but
we put them to good use, though.
We did. We used them on one song, and I think that was enough.
I believe that song was called Travis Perkins. Is that
That's
correct?
right. Yeah, it was. You absolutely got that right.
It's been a while. I forgot about those timbales. I forgot all about them.
It's just I've been waiting for years for this bass guitar, and I was so happy. And you were like, "What am I getting? What am I getting?"
Yeah, I know. Let's move on to some Biffy questions.
Let's do it.
Because a few
what have you got?
In some. Okay, so Nick Shirito asked, will you be releasing another single before the album is out?
Yes, Nick, we will. You heard it here first, or maybe you heard it somewhere else first, but you're hearing it here again. We definitely will, and maybe it's a good time just to mention we were disappointed that the album hasn't come out when we initially thought. We spent years making this record, putting everything we've got into it, and we kind of grew up in an era where you made a record, you made a CD, you made a cassette, and you had something to touch and to feel. And given the current climate, you can't get a record made, you can't get a CD made. You end up with a download code, which is still music, understand that. But for me personally, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Ben, I want to make a record. That's what we made,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and I feel that it's a great record. I feel that it will still be a great record when it does come out in a few months' time, and you know, no one's as disappointed as we are that it hasn't come out yet. You know, so
It will though, and it's going to be a glorious time when it does. I'm going to put you right on the spot here from Claudio de Giorgio. What is your favourite Biffy album?
that
Tough
no,
one.
come on, that's quite easy. That
Is that easy?
yeah. Well, it's a new record for me, a celebration of endings all day long.
I agree,
And
definitely.
it's never about disowning older records, is it, Ben? It's about
No.
that. I mean, how excited are we about this
I know,
fucking record?
it's just is our best record. I can't, there's not many ways to put that. It's just, for me, it's everything I love about music on one album, or everything I love about our band on one album, and yeah, it was it's number 8, man. I can't believe we've made this many records, and I'm just so happy that this sounds so fresh to my ears, and I'm still so impressed by our band.
That's nice to hear, man. You do miss it, you know. It's like
Yeah.
we were meant to be out on the road at the moment, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really really miss it, but we're going to be back soon, no doubt about it. Well, we hope we're going to be back soon. Actually, that kind of, somebody asked you. He's a bit of a fun one. Michael Unwin asks, who's had the worst onstage injury? There's been a few.
I mean, there has been a few. The worst, I think Sai takes that, but Sai's quite often hurting himself on stage, whether it be
Always.
smashing his face off microphones or cracking ribs or what have you. But I think the one that sticks in my head the most is when he basically shattered his foot jumping off the PA stack at the end of a gig, early doors at the QMU in Glasgow. Just happened to be the day before we were shooting the questions and answers video, of course. But yeah, we had the amazing Stevie Broadfoot, late great Stevie Broadfoot, was our tour manager, who was doing the lights that night, and he just went stage black right when Simon jumped off the stack. And yeah, we were laughing, but it wasn't funny because there was an audible snap, and Simon had to be carried off the stage. So that was, quite a serious injury.
It was quite an eventful 12 hours thereafter. I think Simon spent 4 of those hours waiting in a hospital.
No, in a hospital, yes.
And then, yeah, as you say, we get the way to drive in a van overnight to London. And if anyone's not seen it, check out the questions and answers video, because you can see Simon being pushed around in a wheelchair, and it's not fake. It is not fake. What a trooper. He did well, because he was in bloody agony.
I know. He must have been. He must have been in absolute agony to see the trooper. I did most of the pushing that day. I remember that much.
What's your favourite song to play live? That comes from Chris Salmon and Hannah Sinclair.
My favourite song to play. I've got a few. I can't just pick one because that's too difficult.
Pick a few, man.
Jaggy Snake, Animal Style, the Thaw. Actually, I love playing the Thaw live. And I love playing Stinging Bell. Singing Bell is just such a euphoric feeling at the end of that, and the whole place is going absolutely crazy, and I get to properly let out some mad energy at that point. I know you guys get to jump around a lot, but I'm sat still, so I need some real workout at the end of the set, and Stinging Bell is that. So that's probably my 4 favourites to play live. What about you, Jimbo?
Well, do you know, I was going to say Jaggy Snake.
Oh, really?
Just because it's bonkers, it's batshit crazy, it's all over the place. The song keeps taking an about turn every 2 seconds, and it kind of requires a different approach to the way you play. And also, I just love to watch people's faces when we play that song. But you know, on that note, playing a song like Bubbles, which we've played that song, you know, a few times now. But when Simon gets the audience going and everyone's jumping, and that energy you feel, that community you feel when you're all having a good time together, I think that is that's probably what I miss the most, and that's the biggest buzz for me when we play is to see people enjoying themselves.
Absolutely, the connection. That kind of leads into a question about venue sizes. How did it feel to start playing big venues? From Chris Lennon.
Hello, Chris.
When he says big, what does he mean? Because big was King Tut's was big to us.
I mean, any gig. There's another question that we might come to later, which talks about our first gig, and it's when every gig was nerve-wracking. You know, and they still are. Like you say, getting to play in in King Tut's, world famous King Tut's here in Glasgow. I don't know, is it world famous?
I think it's
Probably not.
I think it is.
But you know, when you care about something, you want it to go well, and it makes you nervous. So yeah, moving up those stages was nerve-wracking. But I remember one moment when we saw our friend's band, Anagram. They played at Tea in the Park, and they played a really great show. It was fun to watch them. But they were suddenly on a massive big stage, and
yeah, I remember that one.
and they just set their gear up. I don't really know if they thought about it, but they were all spaced out so much, and it made
it's a big stage, isn't it? You got to try and fill the stage.
Well, you do, but the opposite. It had the kind of opposite effect. It made them look really small, and they were really far away. And so I think it was after that moment we realised that you just have to set up in this little triangle and try and have the same dynamic that we would have in a small room. And I guess slowly you just start to learn how to kind of fill the space a little bit. But it never becomes, it never stops becoming nerve-wracking, isn't that right?
No, I get that, and I guess you can't have your cake and eat it, but you want the best of both worlds. You want that intimacy and the connection you get from a smaller venue, but you want the volume of the crowd from a massive gig. If you get both of those things together, you'd be winning. But you can't pick large venue, small venue. There's too many pros and cons for each. It's impossible.
So we've got lots of questions here. Why don't we take a little break and I'll test your knowledge? Are you up for a test, Ben? I'm kind of putting you on the spot here.
If you know me, you know I love tests.
You love tests.
I was very academic in school. I'm all about the tests, man.
Do you want to do a quick round of rock band anagrams?
Yes.
You
Please.
do?
Yes, I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some theme music.
Right. So people can play at home as well, I guess.
People can play at home.
Yeah.
I don't know about to give you cute clues. I'll maybe give you some clues if you struggle.
Is it that difficult, man? I need clues.
No. But essentially, it's anagrams here, and it's rock bands. You've got a pencil.
I've got a pencil, so I can start flipping letters around, man.
Right. Well, here is the first one.
Oh, I think I know this.
You got it?
I think so. But we'll give it, you know. We actually got the music as well. Just checking.
Just think headbands.
Yeah.
Headbands and wristbands.
Yeah, I think I've got it.
You do?
I think I've got it.
What do you think? Has anyone got it at home? Oh yeah, people have got it at home.
That's right. I mean, see, I wasn't looking at the comments. I promise.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the. Can I turn these off?
I think we're going to have to turn them off because Ben's cheating. Ben is cheating.
I'm not cheating.
He's getting.
There's got to be a way to turn these off.
Oh, these are good.
This is great. Well done, everybody. Too easy. Says
too
Victor
easy.
of the Sun.
Right. Well, I go straight to a really hard one.
Aye.
This is tough.
Is it really hard?
I'll give you clues as we go. Does the sound effects work?
It works for me. And people were laughing. A lot of people were laughing at us. Right.
At us. Mean Shanghai Cigarette.
I know. See, it's a
band out of Los Angeles.
Oh my word.
Come on. Rubbish. You used to be in a covers band.
Oh man, I don't know. Is anybody at home got it there? I did not get that one.
I don't think.
If someone's saying it's back to front, it's back to front because it's obviously quite difficult to. Of course, it's back to front.
Of course it is. I never.
Is it Rage Against
the Machine?
Fantastic.
Of course.
I thought you said they used to be in a covers band. I'm like, what? This is impossible.
No.
I used to be in college. I was in a Rage Against the Machine tribute band called Rage Against the Shooting Ninja, and we were not half bad.
Well, some have said. I've got a couple more.
Do it.
This one might be topical. It's a band they've had some involvement with one of their songs this week. I've probably just given away too much.
I think you probably have, right?
But let's just see.
I think I've got it. I think I've got it. Let's see. I'll just let other people. Yeah, because I mean, you've given me way too much here, man. You played chickens. There you go. Looks like Biffy Clyro got it.
Hey!
Well done, man. Well done. Now, the answer to that question was the Foo Fighters, of course.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters.
Did
and
you
what
do that?
What did we do this week?
Yeah, you did that for a segue, didn't you?
I did it for a segue.
We may or may not have been one of the bands involved, or one of the artists involved in this wonderful collaboration to try and help raise some more money.
It turns out that shooting a music video at home isn't that fucking easy.
It's not that easy.
But you're going to you'll be able to hear a little bit more about the Radio 1 Live Lounge Stay at Home. Simon is going to be joining the wonderful Greg James on BBC Radio 1 tomorrow. Tomorrow?
That's a good new word you made up there.
Tomorrow morning. It's breakfast time if you're in the UK, so get up early. What do you think? We'll do one. I've got one more.
I can challenge you if you want.
Well, let me do one more of these. It's fairly topical. You'll see when I hold it up. This is a band that this is quite tough. This is a band that we've toured with, and that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. I'm really bad at this. Oh, it's difficult, man.
It was a European tour. Did about 4 shows, and one of the members of this band came to support us with his other band.
Yeah, okay, I think it's because it's backwards. It's difficult to see.
Yeah.
And I think have you spelled it wrong?
Probably.
Is it Guns N' Roses?
It's Guns N' Roses.
I think you want a Z in there somewhere. You know, I don't even know, man.
No, you don't. You got that wrong. But well, I think easy peasy. People are saying, right, it turns out people at home are much better at this than you are, Benny, I think.
Right. Well, how do you think you would be at recognising Biffy Clyro songs played backwards?
I've got a feeling we're about to find out. I don't think I'll be very good, but let's give it a swing.
Right. Here comes the first one. You ready?
That was awesome sound quality, man.
Is that really good?
One more time.
Okay, really? Right.
Oh.
It sounds demonic, someone says. I mean, that's got to be a plus point, isn't it?
I'm
5,
I'm
4,
so I don't
3,
know.
No one's got it. It was the joke's on us.
Okay, right. No, to be honest, it might sound a little bit clearer for you, but for us, everyone else listening, it's tough. Let's try another one. Let's see how we go.
Let's try another one. Let's try one that you might. Okay, let's try one. Let's try this.
At least no one else is getting it.
You don't feel daft. Try this.
I'm just going to turn the volume down a little bit.
You're too loud.
No, there was something in there that reminded me of God and Satan.
Yay!
You're not. No.
It was God and Satan. It was God and Satan backwards. Someone's saying do this every night. I mean, talking about it material. How about, do you think you could recognise like 1 second of a Biffy song played forward, just to give you a chance here, because it's obviously difficult.
Let's try it.
Okay, let's try that then. Let's give this a go, see what happens.
Yes, Boom Blast and Ruin.
Yay!
Isn't this nice to have a little bit of company?
It is. It really is.
I hope people at home are sort of feeling some sort of a warm embrace. You know, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to lighten the mood a little bit, have a little bit of fun. You've probably not learned anything, but it's just nice to have your company, and it's nice to enjoy your company as well. Benny, I've missed you, man.
You too, bro. It's unprecedented times for all of us, and you know we're all just muddling through and doing the best we can. And this is weird. We're not going to lie. This is all very strange for everyone, but we're all getting used to it, and life is changing, and we'll adapt, and we'll keep moving forward.
That's it. Reach out to somebody that you haven't spoken to in a while. Reach out to some old friends. Phone your granny. Phone somebody.
Absolutely.
Get on the phone. That's what I've been doing. Spending ages on the phone, just trying to stay in touch with people. And I can see now that we're approaching 6:30. I don't know if we get cut off here. I would hate for that to happen without getting a chance to say goodbye. So maybe we should call an end to this, Benny. Maybe we can get a chance to do it some other time.
I'd love that. We could say same time next week, you know?
Well, let's see. I don't know. I might be busy. I'll see you.
Really? Aye. Okay. Just check
I might just do it.
then.
I might just do it on my own. But
You do it on your own.
No. But I love you very much. I
love you too, man.
I love the people at home very much. Thank you very much for your company. We'll try and both end this at the same time. So I'm going to count us down. But lots of love. 5.
Take care.
4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.